Hello. This past weekend, I attended YCS Vancouver, and it was my first ever sort of traditional YCS. I had done a team 3v3 YCS before, but this was my first sort of 1v1 YCS, and I did pretty decent. I went 7-3 and got 59th place, so top 64, and I wanted to sort of show off my INFERNOBLE list to you guys. Real quick before that, though, I just wanted to say it was a super fun event. All my opponents were really great. It was just really, really fun. Definitely recommend if YCS Vancouver comes back again to go. It was super great. And then I really wanted to shout out my friend James for lending me a lot of high rarity INFERNOBLE stuff for the event to sort of show off and show everyone the cool QCRs. But let's hop in. So main deck, I played 3 connector, 1 Aqua Dolphin. This is the best normal summon engine for the deck. If you're playing INFERNOBLE, you have to play this because the handed knowledge you get off Aqua Dolphin is just way too important. And being able to hand rip 1, 2, even sometimes 3 if you're crazy is just so good. 2 Ogier, the next best normal summon. You could play 3, but I wanted to make sure I had enough non-engine space, so I cut them down to 2. 3 Renaud. This card is insane. It gets you back pretty much anything you could want in your deck. It's a level 1 extender that can be a tuner sometimes, most times. It's just so good. You almost always want to have at least 1 in your hand. And so I definitely think you have to play this at 3. For the 1-0s, we have 1 Turpin, 1 Mogis, 1 Oliver, and 1 Ricardetto. I think all these cards are mandatory. Ricardetto and Turpin are insanely good. Turpin's a fantastic extender. Mogis is really good for the grind game, gets you that draw and shuffle back. And Oliver is honestly, if I could change something, I would definitely be playing 2 of him. He's just so good to extend at any point, and you just kind of need more tuners at times. For the other Fire Warriors, we play 1 Red Layer. It's a good extender to start your turn, and it gives more value to your Aqua Dolphin. It being level 5 also comes up. I made a Barone with Red Layer, a Turpin, and a Renaud at some point, and it was really good. 1 Fire Flint. You need this extender for when Connector gets ashed or impermed, because Renaud can be kind of awkward with Connector. You can't special Renaud because she's not a Fire Warrior. And then the last main deck warrior was Gearfried. This card is so good. It just breaks boards. It insulates your combos from hand traps. It's 3k. It's super good. I was playing it at 2 before the event, but in preparation for it, I think honestly this card should just be a 1-of, because the only bad hands that you can draw are really when you draw like 2 Gearfried, and because one of those is just not being used. So I think at 1 it's fine. Moving on to the spells, we have 3 Museum, one of the other best cards in the deck. Museum is able to just do everything. It starts you, it extends, and just being able to use it not hard once per turn and it being soft once per turn, you get so much value out of it, from level 4 extenders to summoning back the Charles. We played 2 Heritage and 1 Rhoda. The reason we're not playing 3 Heritage is because it is one of the few hard once per turn Rhodas of the deck. And like with that Gearfried example, the only bad hands I would draw were hands where I'd open like 2 or even 3 Heritage, because that means I would start with like 1 less card essentially. Moving on to the equips, we have 3 Durandal. Unlike Heritage, this card you kind of have to play at 3, because even though it is hard once per turn, it being an equip is so valuable for things like Oliver and Isolde. 1 Almus, 1 Joyeuse, 1 Phoenix Blade, and then 1 DDR. I used to main deck the Metal Silver, but the extension that DDR gives you is so important game 1. The Metal Silver is still in, it's just in the side, which you'll see later. And then for non-engine, we played 11, which is particularly high for INFERNOBLE, but it was 3 Ash, 3 Book of Moon, 2 Talents, and 3 Imperm. These were all really, really great. I'm very happy with the books and imperms as just being nice 6-card draws to extend into the board. Talents was insane, and it won me at least like 4 games. I was overall really happy with the non-engine. So that's it for the main deck. We'll go to extra real quick. So for the extra, we play 2 Emperor Charles the Great. You can make 2, so that's why we play 2. And it's just so good. This card's so cool. You get everything that the other Charles does, plus Spell Trap Negate. You can't really complain. 2 Isolde. People still stop the first effect with like Valor and Imperm, and then you just extend into a second. So it's just really, really good. There were a lot of times where I Aqua Dolphin looked in hand and they only had an Imperm, and I knew that they would use it on the second effect of Isolde. And when they did, you were able to push past it and continue. 1 Apo, shout out to Team COG for the combo where normal connector plus Renaud is an out to Nib. It came up pretty much, I think, twice in the event, and just having the Apo there is so, so good. 1 Goki, the Power Load Ogre. This card is really good at breaking boards and just beating into things because it's towers, basically, and then it can pop up to 4 cards. Ra-10. A lot of people don't know what this card does. It pops a card at start of battle, so it's really good against like Zeus pushes that people try and do and things like that. He's pretty nice to have. And then for the last link, Ferocious Flame Swordsman. Basically, he is your way to bridge into a warrior with non-warriors. So for instance, if you talent steal like a Chaos Angel that I did, you can link it off into Ferocious Flame and then like summon a Renaud and extend from there. For synchros, we played 1 Barone, 1 of the classic Emperor Charles, 1 Angelica, and 1 Captain Roland, and then 1 Ignoble Knight of High Laudelin. Honestly, these were all really, really good. Except for Ignoble Knight of High Laudelin, I think I would cut this in the future for either a second one of either of these. If cash is still relevant in a few months with like ban lists, then Charles will probably be the pick. But if it's not, it would probably be an Angelica. And then for the last 2 extra deck cards is the 1 Dempsey. This card is really, really good. And then the 1 Artorigus. Both of these are for 1-card combos. Dempsey comes up more when you're trying to extend with awkward hands sometimes for the DDR line. But I still really, really like the Artorigus line. So that's it for the extra. And then real quick for the side, we have 3 going first cards. So Uppercutter, Metal Silver, and Flame Bell Counter. Basically, Metal Silver, while good, is not good against every deck, and so I wanted to make sure I had it inside for matchups where it really, really applied a lot of pressure, things like Unchained or Kashtira. And then Uppercutter is sort of your Dark Ruler or Droplet answer. But honestly, it'll probably get replaced when Age of Overlord comes out and Angel Ring just does the job better. And then we sided 3 Nib, 2 Droll, 2 Kurikara. These were okay. Kurikara was pretty good. Droll was only really good 1 time against Dragon Link. And Nib, honestly, was kind of just not that great. I probably would play something otherwise. And then 2 Cosmic, a Duster, and 2 Eclipse. These were all really good. If anything, I should have played more Eclipse and less Nibiru. And then maybe even like thrust or more ways into hard removal, because sometimes if you don't see it, it's really tough. But overall, that was the list. Thanks for watching, and I'll have more for you later.